Hello and welcome to this special broadcast. We're focusing on Bajaj Auto. The company has registered growth in two-wheeler sales of 25% for February 2024 at 2.94 lakh units. The company witnessed a 24% growth in domestic sales and an 8% growth in exports. The growth in commercial vehicles was 16%. Bajaj Auto has so far seen a 10% year-on-year growth in the April-February period. The company had recently announced a buyback of up to 40 lakh equity shares for a consideration of up to rupees 4,000 crore by way of tender offer route. Joining us right now to talk about the company's strategy going ahead and outlook for FY25 is Bajaj Auto's MD, Rajiv Bajaj. Mr. Bajaj, thank you very much for joining us. Let me begin with an industry question first as to the sentiment in the industry. According to analyst reports, two-wheeler wholesales have shown a 35% year-on-year growth in February. Exports have increased by 45%. What do you think is leading the growth of the two-wheeler industry at present?
Hi, Parikshit. Good to be with you again. Yes, the two-wheeler industry in general is doing rather well. Let me take the second part of your question first on exports. As you would perhaps remember, this quarter last year was the worst for exports for the industry and also for ourselves. So the short answer would be that this high growth that you referred to of 45% is coming on the back of a relatively low base. I mean, that's the fundamental reason for that growth. Having said that, export markets are a lot more stable now in several respects than they were, let's say, 6 months ago. So while month on month, we will not see that kind of an increment because we are still, only at about 70% of our peak exports, which was pre-COVID, I think. So it will take some time to get there. But yes, for now, the year-on-year growth is good. As far as the domestic growth is concerned, again, the industry is doing well, and if I may say so, so is Bajaj. And particularly, as you know, our area of focus is the 125cc plus motorcycle segment, where we are growing at about 30 to 40% year on year, depending on the month in question. And of course, our other businesses like the premium motorcycles, Chetak, three-wheeler, are all really doing very well right now.
Right. Now, if we speak about the recent report by JP Morgan, which considers Bajaj Auto as a re-rating candidate, it has issued an overweight call on the company and raised the target price from 8,275 rupees to 8,900. What do you think is working in the company's favor at this juncture?
Well, I don't know. I've realized after 33 years of being here that I understand the motorcycle market a little bit, but I still haven't figured the stock market out at all. I mean, why is our market cap double of what it was a year ago? I have no clue. But as I've said to you before, when we spoke in January, I think we are just firing on all cylinders right now. Very quickly, if I give you the narrative, it would be that in the domestic motorcycles with the Pulsar brand, you would have seen even through this quarter, we are launching new products, virtually every fortnight. And if you're tempted to think that we are overpopulating the market, we are not, because rather than premiumization, I like to use the term super segmentation. We can clearly see that the segment that Pulsar participates in, which is about 400,000 motorcycles every month, is a massive segment. It is perhaps bigger than the industry size of most other markets in the world. So there's great opportunity to super segment this, and that's exactly what we are doing with the Pulsar. We will continue to do that through this quarter, and as I've said to you before, by the end of this year, very early into the next financial year, we will launch the biggest Pulsar ever. So, Pulsar is really driving a lot of our performance for the last few months. Then with the premium motorcycles, our own Dominar brand and KTM, between domestic and exports, we do almost 15,000-20,000 a month. We are again neck to neck with the leader Yamaha over there. So that's doing well for us. Triumph, as all of you have been reporting, we are typically hitting 20,000 a quarter that most people, including ourselves, frankly, didn't entirely expect. So that's doing very well. Chetak has grown or is growing between 3 and 5 times year on year in any given month in recent months. So that's really struck a rhythm. On the three-wheeler business, it's not just the EV that we introduced last May, but even our ICE business, primarily CNG, very strong. We are up to almost some 70-80% market share of this industry, which is the biggest three-wheeler industry in the world. So again, and that's very profitable for us, as you know. And finally, in exports, as I said, while it's slow and steady, to be honest, it's not the kind of growth that we're expecting in the other verticals. But what is really solid for us in exports is our market share, which is very solid in the markets that we are in. Two, pricing power, which is great for our EBITDA, and of course the rupee at 83 is a wonderful thing. So that's the good news on exports. So really on all six cylinders, we are doing really well at this point in time.
Right. I'd like to ask you about the share buyback, which opens tomorrow. What is the nature of response you're expecting given the buyback premium, and is that number a fair valuation for the stock?
Again, yes and no, I would say, in the sense that the response has been tremendous. It's like people respond to a closing down sale. Hopefully, we are not closing down anytime soon, but the buyback has closed down, and it's reflected in the fact that I think when we announced it, the stock price was about 6,000 rupees. I remember I was on CNBC a particular day speaking with some of you, and it was inching towards 7,000. And now it's in the 8,000 region. So obviously, I'd like to believe the buyback has been very well received. In terms of fair valuation, I mean, without taking any names, all I would say is that in my head, I have a basket of companies that I think Bajaj Auto can be compared with in terms of its performance, in terms of its PE, in terms of its future prospects, let's say, etc. And frankly, to me, although the stock has moved up from 4,000 through 6,000 to 8,000, in my head, and as I said, I'm a layman in these matters, something closer to 12,000 sounds fair value, as you called it. So who knows, there might be another buyback in the near future.
Over the last few quarters, the company has said that it would like to build a portfolio of CNG motorcycles. For every motorcycle, you'd like to have a CNG vertical as well. When could your CNG motorcycle hit the market in FY25?
Okay, so good question. Let me clarify what we meant in terms of our portfolio. See, the market is, the motorcycle market is polarized around displacements, the most popular being 100, 125, and the 150 to 160 displacement. So we believe that a CNG motorcycle should appeal to consumers at each of these three displacement points. And that gives us the opportunity to build a portfolio as opposed to just one motorcycle of a particular displacement. So that's the answer to the portfolio question. The last time we spoke, if you remember, I said to you that, it's the first time in the world somebody's trying to develop a CNG motorcycle, and it's not a trivial problem to package a CNG cylinder in a motorcycle, which, unlike a scooter, has no obvious storage space. And if I may just dwell on this for a little longer, the motivation is really twofold. One is from the point of view of the environment, because now we are well into testing, and we can see that, compared to a gasoline motorcycle, CO2 is down by almost 50%, CO is down by like 75%, and non-methane hydrocarbons are down by like 90%. This is a motorcycle that is potentially fantastic for the environment, but equally, it promises to do what Hero Honda did actually 40 years ago, which was effectively to double mileage or to halve the cost of fuel for the Aam Aadmi, which I think is a fantastic impact on the wallet of those consumers. So now, coming more directly to your question, I had said to you that within the calendar year 25, we hope to be the first in the world to launch such a motorcycle. But today I'm going to tell you, we are so encouraged by the results we've seen from the testing that we are actually able to prepone that by a whole year. So within this calendar year 24, in the very near future, I think you will see us announce the world's first CNG motorcycle. Within the next quarter, we will launch the world's first CNG motorcycle.
Oh, that's an important thing, sir. Looking to launch it within the next quarter. And will there be only one motorcycle this year, or could there be 2 or 3 launches that you could look at in the CNG space?
Of course, we have to start with one. One of the displacements that I referred to, we have to get that right. And then from there to expand then we can expand the portfolio.
Right. Coming back on the premium segment, what are the current volumes you're seeing from the Triumph bikes? What is the capacity ramp-up plan?
Oh, with Triumph, I think the last 2 quarters, we have been fortunate. We've been doing, as I said, about 20,000 a quarter, so about 6,000-7,000 a month between domestic and exports. Actually, our capacity is not even that much. And when I say our capacity, I mean not just Bajaj, but the entire supply chain, because we were, frankly, a little conservative in planning that capacity. So we have to stretch ourselves a bit to deliver this volume. We are now obviously investing to expand that capacity, and I think I would be correct if I said that we should be able to take it to the next level, which means about 30,000 vehicles a quarter or 10,000 Triumph motorcycles a month in the next few months. I think by July, the entire supply chain should be there. Also, in terms of distribution, we are doing our best to expand. It's not the easiest thing because Triumph dealer standards are very high, i.e. very expensive investments as well. So, it takes time to expand the network also. So I think we are readying ourselves basically for the festive season, but that by September, let's say, can we be in a position to make, deliver, distribute 10,000 Triumph motorcycles a month between domestic and exports.
Now, Triumph globally has roadsters, classics, adventure bikes in the 600 to 1200cc category. Last year, you launched the 400cc segment with 2 Triumph motorcycles. Could the company be looking at developing or manufacturing a bigger Triumph motorcycle with the partner, for the partner?
As of now, we have no such plans. We will, of course, I don't know if we are actually already doing it, but if we are not, we will be, of course, putting together SKDs and CKDs for Triumph for sales in this market. It's what Triumph used to do on its own, and that is to be handed over to Bajaj. So that, of course, we will be doing. But in terms of displacement, as of now, we stay in the 400cc zone.